Alright, I just got my Cobra 3D2 combo. I do have the original one over there. I'm gonna run both aces on the V2 and keep the V1 single color. I'm already running the single tube. So I'm gonna do a quick little video on how to put this one together. It's already night. I'm in the garage. I got some crappy lighting on, but I'll do my best. I'm definitely going to be all over the place. I'm going to put things together as I go. But I got the screen here. I got the print head ready to go. I got the extra one to make this 8 color, but I haven't printed the hub yet. So once I get that printed, I'll probably get that going. I printed this gimbal to run the 8 colors. So this is actually pretty cool. It turns and it rotates. Here real quick. There. This is a cable that connects to the A's. One side has 4 prongs, the other one has 6 ports, or ports I guess, not prongs, but 4 and 6. The one that goes in here is going to be the 6th port. 4th port, sorry. Like I said, it's dark, so I'm kind of playing in the dark here. Got the tubes here. Okay. Got that in there, so that was the 4 or the 4 port, 6 port. The tubes actually going pretty easily. I just trying to say last. Oh, the sling. This is what ejects the poop or the filament when it's purging. There's 2 tabs in there, and then the screw hole. This actually goes back here, so you just gotta line those tabs up, and then get the screw in there. So I'm gonna try to find the screw real quick, but comes with the USB as well. That's for it backs up your info, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So whenever you're updating, it'll keep the last update that was on there, and it'll save other information. If it gives you errors, the errors will actually get saved in there too. A little bit of filament. So I got the touchscreen screws right here, so we'll do that first, I guess. I'll start doing stuff as it starts coming in. But there's a little bit of tape on here. Take that off so you can have access to the cable for the screen. Take that off. It tells you on here which way. So this side up, meaning like this. So you plug it in. It'll go like this. Puts it there. This is going to be a couple of your Allen wrenches. They come with all the tools that you need to put it together, which is kind of nice. Don't have to worry about finding anything. It's just 2 screws. There's 2 holes on here, 2 holes on here. You just gotta line them up. And this also fits in here, so it'll help you line everything up. One of them in there, the other one. And you probably want to wait to plug in that cable till after you get the screws, because they were that cable was kind of in the way, so I ended up unplugging it anyways, because just to not ruin anything. So get your screws in there, lined up. But try not to ever over tighten anything, especially with this type of stuff, because screws aren't necessarily the best quality. Got the screen on there. I usually like to leave this filament on for as long as I can. The screen actually looks a little different. It looks like it's got some type of texture to it. The other one doesn't. I don't know if it's this cover or it is this cover. Never mind. It's exactly the same. Got that. Let's see what it gives us next. These are the wrenches that you'll use to tighten the screws and all that to make sure everything's nice and tight. We'll go over all this stuff. This I've noticed, this rail here is wider than the V1. I'm guessing that'll make the leveling and the slinging of the bed a lot sturdier, which is definitely good when you're 3D printing from the weapon tool. Set that. This is what you would use if you were just running 4 colors, but like I said, I'm going to be running 8, so I got that little print right there. But this actually is pretty cool because you can run the 4 tubes and then your single colors. So usually you can just unplug one of the 4 tubes on your port and plug the single one, and you don't have to use the ace always if you're printing single color. So print head, you get 4 exactly the same, and they're gonna go I think you'll have to loosen this too a little bit, and those will hang right up here. And then the other 4 will go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you wanna get these 4 little ones in there, kind of started, just so that So I think I'm wrong. I put that one together a long time ago and I didn't watch a video for this, so I'm kind of experimenting at this point, but that's alright. If I screw something up, I can always find the wiki, just go off of that. So I'm just getting it started because this two are more like to hang it on there. I'm just gonna put this 2 in there first. Those 2 will just sit right there, and you'll tighten those. And then the other 4, the back here actually has 2 white little holes that kind of tell you where you need to screw them onto. So I got this side on, get this side on as well. And then I'll get the other 2 in a second. I'm not completely off anymore. So do not loosen the 2 screws on the top. I put mine back in, so it should be alright. So now just get the other 2. And again, try to get it nice and snug, but don't ever over tighten this type of screws. They're really small, and the threading on them is actually pretty soft, and you could ruin it, and definitely don't want to do that, and have it halfway sticking out of the back and not be able to take it out. So that. next one a little bit more. Just a little more. One thing you gotta check for, and I'll tighten all those later on, but this needs to not have any plane. If you notice, this is all really loose. So it's all this right here, they're eccentric nuts, I believe it's called, but each one, whenever it tightens, the screw is off center, so it'll kind of put tension on either one side, and it'll either loosen it or tighten it. So you gotta make sure those are tightened on there pretty good. So I definitely gotta do that on mine. There's way too much play, but it should be all good once I get it all tightened in there. So that was this. That's the printhead. No screws left there. Printhead cable. That is this orange cable over here. You get two orange cables. One controls the motion here, and that'll also be one of the ones that's got 6 ports actually on that one, and it connects down here somewhere. And then this other one is the one that goes to the printhead. I've actually had an error with that cable before, and because of that error, I ended up needing to basically get a whole new motherboard. I went through a bunch of stuff to get that fixed. Anycubic has actually been really good with all the issues that I had with the B1. They sent me a bunch of extra parts, which is really cool. I have enough parts to possibly build a whole nother machine. And, I don't mind it at all. I got to take a bunch of pieces apart and learn a bunch. So it's been nice. So for that orange cable that goes into the printhead, you get the 2 long little screws, and you get one on each side of that. Again, try not to over tighten them. They are very small, and it's just to keep that cable in place. It doesn't necessarily need to be too tight. Like I said, this one is down here, and it's got a little clip that guides you in, so you can't mess it up. You just got to get in there. Once it clicks, you're good to go. This is that sling that I was talking about. It comes with 2 different size screws. One is actually to hold the camera in place. I don't know why they put it on here and not with the camera itself. The camera comes in this box here. Oh, actually it is in there. So maybe that other screw is for 2 different things. I guess we'll find out. So, like I said, 2 little tabs. Line them up with the holes back here, and then get your screws in there. And once it's lined up with those little tabs, it even stays in there by itself. And be careful with these 2 little screws, because one has, the threads are different, and you might mess it up. So I tried putting the one with the wider thread on the top hole, on the hole with the white lining on there, and then it did all that great sort of stuff before damaging it. So you can see how it's like, as it's tightening up, it's tightening itself. The one with the finer thread actually holds that sling together. I'll figure out what this one's for because I think the other one goes in here. There's a little hole down here in the sling, and I think this one goes. Well, I don't think it goes in there. It's just so you can see how it's going into it, and that one is actually 39 pounds. So that's the sling, and that whenever you're gonna switch colors or you're done printing, the print head will swing all the way over here, and there's basically a blade on this side, and once it goes into this, it pushes that blade in and cuts, and then it comes back over here, and then you can see that engages, and whenever new filament comes out, it'll purge, it'll go through some processing, or it'll get a lot of it out, and then once it's done pulling out, it'll go like this a couple of times, and it'll get rid of the purge, and then it'll just go back onto the bed. So that was the purge wipe. What else is in here? You get some grease in here. I went and bought a little tube of Creality grease, and it's actually really good. It's just as good as that. But make sure you use this right away. I'm gonna clean everything off real quick with a clean rag, and then I'm gonna reapply everything. You don't necessarily need a whole lot. Too much isn't necessarily always a good thing. So I mean, everything's pretty well oiled. I might just leave it alone. If anything, just add a little bit more, go through the first motions with a little bit extra grease and everything. What else do I have? Power cord, it's pretty self-explanatory. Printer has one over here, the base has one back here. So check those out. Something else to go. Cable out. I guess this is the female that's got to go facing that way like I'm holding it now. There. I'm going to be running it. I got the extension cord back here. So that'll go here. Get the other cable on here real quick. It's funny because I was waiting on some filament to come in. I bought the whole combo together. The filament was 50% off, and I got like a 60% off code for the printer. So altogether, I paid less than $380. So again, for the price, you can't beat it. They're not necessarily the top of the line printers, but I like it. Even the issues I've had with it, I like fixing them. Nothing's too complicated. Here. With the edge, I got the tubes. I do eventually plan on printing basically a little thing so that you can stack them and set them up double. I'm gonna put this on that side eventually, or maybe both on this side since all the cables are over here. But these tubes are actually pretty simple to put on. I'm not necessarily too crazy about like having them super organized, but it looks better if you do organize them. So that's entirely up to you, however you want to do it. No particular order. Whenever you have the machine set up, you tell it which slot has which color, so the machine knows what to pull. You don't have to figure out what color should be what. The machine will pull from what you tell it is on each one. So to get these tubes in here is actually pretty simple. With this one, you literally just push down to take them out. You I'll show you guys on the other one. To take them down, or take them out, I should say, once it's in there, you'll push down on this little collar and pull it out, and it comes out. So all of them have this little collar you can push down on. So that'll go down. And be careful when not bending those tubes like I did. It's pretty straight now, but you bend them too much and then the filament will have an issue getting through and it'll get stuck and things like that. But you can see how I bent it, but just be careful with it. You don't need a lot of force, obviously. It only needs to go in. The other ones actually had a line that tells you how far you gotta go. I don't know if you can see the two little black lines right there, but I guess I went too far. That's why I bent it a little bit. But like I said, push this down, take your tube out. This is for the V1. So I'll run this in here, push that one in. And then it'll go through here. Down. And I'm gonna pull them off in here real quick. I'm gonna just set it up with the four for now, the four colors. Like I said, I do plan on running this 8 colors, but just for the sake of time right now. I will do a video once I print the hub with the 8 colors just to put them all together. But I think if you got more than 1 or 2 printers, you probably don't need a video on there, but who knows, it might help somebody. This is one of the old ones. And this cable, it comes with this little clear clips that'll help you hold all this together so it doesn't look so messy when you're done. But this thing that I printed, this gimbal, actually has a little bag for this orange cable as well, so it'll hold that together. So I don't know, I like it a lot. I'll add the link to it. I'm really bad at doing all that stuff. I'm not too good with this video stuff, but I will add a link for the 8 hub or the 9-port cable, and I'll even add a video or a link with the 8-port hub that I mentioned earlier. But that's it. Just push them in a little bit. Get your 4 out here. I will show you guys the back of the ACE unit in a second, so you can kind of see how this all works out. So these 4 tubes go back in here. And like I said, once you assign it, it doesn't necessarily matter which way they go into, but if you like organizing it, I got this tube coming. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. So you got to figure out what's what. But if you want to get this tube, for me, it would be like this. And then they'll kind of stay organized. But when you go in, it's kind of the same thing. You just have to push them in. The only difference is this has the blue clips. To get those blue clips, all you have to do is take your fingernail and kind of just pull it out. And they come out. Make sure you're not too rough with them. But just pull them out. And the red lights, I believe, help the printer or the ACE identify which colors are what. Or I'm sorry, I don't know what the red light does, but I think it helps it know that there is material in there. Alright, so I'm going to do this too first. And again, same thing, just push them in. Don't be too rough with them. And then to get this clip, what I like to do, you don't have to pull it out too hard. This thing is actually pretty soft, so grab the tube itself, pull it out a little bit, and then take your blue clip, and just push it in there. And you gotta do the same thing 4 more times. Take the tube, pull it out. So hard with it. all the shadows. I'm doing this in the park. It's like almost 9 p.m. here, but I work tomorrow. I work long shifts, so I don't want to wait a whole nother freaking day to put this thing together. I actually want to get it printed tonight. Gonna get it built real quick. Run over the updates. Difficult, but it's in there. Again, be careful. Try not to be too good on YouTube. So that's it, and they're good to go now. So as the filament gets pushed in, this is like a buffer, I guess. So that it doesn't push a bunch of filament in there, it'll pull out and it'll slowly retract. And as the filament goes, it all works together to not feed it too much. Yeah. So get your little silver stars or your little bit of tips and put them in there. Like I mentioned, I got some colors earlier. I'm gonna let them in there real quick, or at least one of them, so I can show y'all how to do this. Got some pretty cool colors from Anycubic. It's like a light blue. It's hard to see at night, but hopefully that shows kind of clear. Let me see. It looks pretty good. And one thing that people need to remember is that just because it was sealed doesn't mean that the filament is dry, right? So always put it to dry for a little bit. I like to just load them in, like, because I'm not going to print within the next couple of hours. I mean, I might print sooner than that, but I got to run the calibrations. I got to tighten some stuff. And it's already 9. Like I said, I got to get some prints to the color that we got. Awesome. So it even tells you on here, dry before each print. So if you were dabbing that, dry before each print. So that blue was called Tropical Turquoise. This pinkish is called Peach Pink. And I do believe these have RFID, so the printer should recognize the colors. They don't have to be the exact colors for you to print it. If you have like a light blue or a dark blue, you can just choose blue, and the printer will recognize that it's the blue. It doesn't really care to know that it's the light blue. It just knows that it's a blue. This purple right here, I've been wanting to print a bunch of stuff with this purple. This one's called Interstellar Violet. Pretty dope. So I'm not unwinding them yet, because like I said, I'm going to dry them for a little bit. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the 4 hours. I'm in Arizona, so like they say, it's a dry heat. So not a whole lot of humidity all the time. And like I said, all this is in the garage anyway, so hopefully it'll stay relatively dry. This is called Spring Leaf. Guessing it's green. Oh, it's all broken. That sucks. I do have other spools, but I don't know if I can transfer that. That's a whole spool. Wah, wah. We'll figure it out. I'll reach out to Anycubic and they'll take care of me. They usually do. I wasn't planning on doing anything with this screen anyways. So, I might have to run. It's all good to go now, but I should probably type in everything before I run the calibration. So, I'm gonna get 1 or 2 of these pins on here just so it's not all over the place when it starts going. So, all you do is take this and then push them in. It's got 5 holes, so you should be able to do all your white tubes and then the orange one as well, so it's not hanging. Kind of get it to about right there. That should be enough. You could do it in the middle if you want to. Take this orange one out, move it towards the middle here, and that should be good. And you don't need a lot of this tube because that's about as far as it goes. You could just pull them up and down. This gimbal thing is pretty loose and they move around pretty easily. So that. Okay, so to tighten all this play right here, like I said, there's eccentric nuts all over the place. So the bed is actually pretty tightened, so I'm not gonna mess with the bed a whole lot. You should be checking it to see if it wiggles either way. It kind of does a little bit, so I might tighten this as well. But side to side is not too bad, so but it'll probably get tightened. It comes with this all the tools that you need really, but the one that you'll need to tighten those is this double-sided one, and it'll probably be the bigger side. I'm gonna try to turn the printer a little bit to see if I can kind of show better what I'm talking about as far as those nuts go. But so this right here, there's a screw or a nut right here, and as you tighten this, it's already going away. So like I said, what it is the nut is kind of off center, so as you turn it either way, it puts more pressure on either side, and obviously you want it to push against this so that it's nice and snug, so that it moves even when it goes up and down. So like right now, if I were to try to move it, there's somewhat a lot of play. So just doing this, tighten that part alone already made a huge difference. So right there, like, you can see now it's not going anywhere as bad as it was before. And you will have to play with this as you start printing, because you could tighten it too much and then it'll have layer shift because of how tight that is. So I do plan on changing this. I did get the Udham couplings. I'm not sure what they're called, but it's a brass coupling that goes in here. These ones are usually really tight, so I'm gonna try running a couple prints the way it sits right now, but I do plan on replacing those. It's actually pretty simple. I got them on the V1. People say that it doesn't help, but in my experience, it helped a little bit. I was getting the layer shifting, so I ended up putting those on there, and it's been great. Some people will put a bearing down here as well, because what they would say is that this motor here is basically taking the load of all of this here when it starts going up and down, and there's a bracket here that the motor sits on that will take the weight of all that, which I actually did to that one as well, and like I said, it made a pretty big difference. So I do plan on doing this one as well. I just haven't ordered the parts because I do want to run it like that to see if it really does make a difference. That one had a lot of issues because it needed a new motherboard, and once I got that motherboard replaced, I really didn't have any issues, but I had already done all the so-called upgrades before that, so I'm not too sure. So I want to run this the way it is now just to see what happens. The head itself, holy crap, big difference. So I tightened it and no play whatsoever right now. I'm kind of moving the front head as well to see, but that's pretty good. So the other ones that I was talking about are down here as well. It's got one on each side, on the front side of it, one here, one over here, and it's just like this one here. It looks like a nut, but you just tighten it, and don't over tighten it because it will mess up the prints. If it's got some type of resistance when it's going back and forth, it will suffer. So it's actually one in the front and one in the back on the sides, which kind of makes sense to kind of pull both sides evenly. I mean, this side's pretty good now. And again, it's not a lot you want to tighten, right? So like right there, to me, that's pretty good. You're not going to be putting a lot of weight on there. So I think I got everything. All the bags are emptied out. It's pretty greased up, so I'm not going to do anything to it. I personally do like to clean the beds. This one's got my fingerprints all over it, my greasy fingerprints. So it's not necessarily going to make a big difference right now because I'm only going to run the calibration. So to turn the machine on, there's a red button over here. Flip that down, screen should come on. It's going to ask for your Wi-Fi, so have that on hand. I have my or your Wi-Fi password. It'll recognize your Wi-Fi, but just waiting for it to start up. You'll get a light up here. It'll ask you what your language is. It's already pre-selected to English. Hit next. Um, it'll ask you if it's global or China. Choose global. So now it's searching for the Wi-Fi. Mine's right up here. Let me do this real quick. And this is kind of like the old QWERTY keyboard where you have to press the number and it gives you all the letters and you choose the letters. Wi-Fi connected. Make sure you have this flash drive on because it's going to help with the setup of the printer first. So I put that on a long time ago in the video, I think. So now that I got it all set up, you'll hit next. Enjoy your 3D printing, and it's asking for that USB. Now it's going to start running all the calibrations. So again, it's going to measure the bed, I think, like 21 times to test to make sure that it's even or not. I'm definitely going to rearrange all the wiring, all the cables that I got back here, but I actually built this counter. So it's a butcher block that I had, and I put some legs on there and then used some brackets to attach it to the wall, and I mean, it's super sturdy. This thing ain't going nowhere. So now it's going to come down. It's going to home itself, and then it's going to test a bunch of stuff. I don't have filament in there, so it probably won't do the calibration. So I guess I could go grab one real quick. I should have had one. Oh, we could use this, I guess. People think that you need to have a spool to run the Ace. I mean, you obviously gotta have a spool to hold the material, but I could run this in there. And, you know what? Let me pause the video real quick. Hopefully I can do that. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get more. I'm just gonna leave it running so you guys can see what it does for all the testing. Now it's doing the auto leveling. I want to grab some more filament just to try the calibrations out. I usually try to clean my bed with rubbing alcohol, or not rubbing alcohol, just isopropyl alcohol, just to get the grease off that plate. Wait till the calibration's done before you do any kind of touching of anything, but I'll have it ready. So loading the Ace is actually pretty easy. You just gotta make sure that you kind of straighten the tip out so that when it goes into it, it doesn't go in there incorrectly. Because I've had some come out. I put it in there wrong, and it curved in, and it came out the front here. Not that big of a deal. I never pull it off, but you definitely want to have some. So all you do is put it in the orange hole, and it'll start pulling it all by itself. That's pretty much it. I will turn this on to start drying the other 3 filaments, but that's going, that's pulling it. Still doing the auto leveling, so I'm not gonna mess with it right now, but it's almost done. It's gotta heat up to 140 degrees, and the bed's at 60. It's actually at 152, so it's cooling down. And then it's gonna run the probing, which is, it'll literally go around touching it 20-something times. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not having any issues so far. I probably could have added a little more grease. Not that big of a deal. I mean, I can kind of do it right now if I needed to. Just put it either in front, because it's going to move either way. So the side, when it goes back, okay, so I can add it here now. Just put a little dab. little dab. So got a little tab, just rip it open, and then it'll come out there. So just a small little dab because this thing is super thick and it's already greased. I'm not trying to. And then you can put some on the screws, on the lead screws. Again, not a whole lot because it's already got some in there, but it's already sticking out. So, and then you can put some on. There's a track here and a track on the bottom that you can put some on. Again, just very little dab here. And when it goes back that way, I'll put another dab on this side, and then I'll get it nice and greased up. The bottom, I'll probably do afterwards because I can't get it in right now. I mean, I might be able to. I'll put it in there now. And like I said, you probably shouldn't be touching it while it's running this probing. So I'll probably do the calibrations again in a little while just to make sure that I don't mess with it too much. But grease on top, bottom, side rails, lead screws, everything's tightened up. It's running the calibrations. I got filament in there so it could do that as well if it needs to. I can't remember if it will do that or not. After that, I gotta go to my laptop and find the printer. It should already be on my network, and then just connect it. And I'm gonna have to pick names for some of them or for both of them and figure out what I want to call them. I mean, I don't want to call it Batman and Robin, but I do want something along those lines. Some type of duo, but we'll figure that part out later. So it's still going now. Pretty much it. It's a pretty simple installation. I don't know how long I got on the video so far. We're at like 40 minutes. I don't know if YouTube's gonna let me upload that. If it does, cool. If not, oh well. It's doing the vibration compensation now, so the head will go back and forth, and then the bed will also do that. It says it's gonna be 140 seconds. That might be the last of it. But you can kind of see it going now. You definitely don't want to touch it on this part because it'll ruin everything. But I think I did pretty good. 40 minutes is not bad for what I wanted to do. What time is it? There's my watch side. I've been here for a second. See what the phone says. Oh, can't see it on the phone either. I don't know. 10 minutes. Everything's dead. I've been out here for a while. Alexa, what time is it? Alexa, what time is it? 9:08. So I've been out here for about an hour. I had to set some of this stuff up before printing, but it should be done pretty soon. Got about 78 seconds. Oh, it's actually done now. Click finish. That's pretty much it. You can. So what I was talking about drying it is you go to the ACE area, which is shows 4 little rolls. So you got your home, and you can print. It will have some test models. You can print from there. It'll give you about 3 pages worth of stuff you can print, but I'm not gonna test it with that. I could do a benchy, but I'm just gonna try something else. So from here, I'm gonna start drying the filament. So just hit this button right here that says dryer, and it'll give you 6 different options. I got all PLA in there, so I'm gonna hit OK. PLA selected, hit OK. It's gonna dry for 4 hours, but again, I'm probably gonna give it about 30-40 minutes, and then I'm gonna start printing. And you can kind of heat everything up as well. So on that third button, it gives you some configurations. You can preheat the printer. Some people like doing that because metal stretches with heat, so you'll want to preheat it before you run your tests, your levels, and all that stuff, so that your metal would have already expanded and it's going to be a true measurement. I've done that before. It kind of, I mean, I didn't really notice the difference. It always works. The options up here are for homing your buttons. You can hit home all while it's warming that up, and it'll bring it. It'll probably do a thing a couple times, and then it'll measure something, and it'll come down. What else can we do? And if for some reason all this doesn't work, if it fails, you can run it again. I'll show you guys how to do that in a second once the homing is done. And if you need to move stuff around, like right now I wanted to paint the bed, so what I'm going to do is you hit unlock, and that loosens all your stoppers. So right now I can't move it, but if I hit unlock, now I can move it up and down. Don't try that at home. But I got my alcohol rag, and then just hit the bed a little bit. And I think that helps with a lot of the adhesion issues. It is 60 degrees, so it's kind of hot. I ran it at 100 degrees before and touched the bed, and it's not super hot. It doesn't necessarily bother me, but it might bother other people, so be careful with the bed. Up here, you can run more calibrations. I think I might need an update, because there should be more options here. I should give you the option to run a full calibration again. If you go here to the settings, again, if you had issues, you can always go to the settings. You can go to if you go to device information, you click on restore system, and it'll ask you if you're sure you want to do it, and it'll start everything again. So it's like calibrations and all that stuff. It won't get rid of the software, but it will run the calibrations again, and it won't get rid of the software, but it will get rid of all your settings in case you're having issues with the printer itself. Pretty much it. I guess those don't have RFIDs because it doesn't show me them, but I got blue, pink, and purple, so click on the one you want to edit. Actually, because it's drying, so you need to run the filament into it before you can choose any of them. That's why this ones don't say anything, but this front one is black. So click on it, a little pencil pops up, click on the pencil, choose your material. In my case, it's all PLA. I'm running black, which I already selected, but if you wanted to run other colors, you could. The 4 colors on top are this 4 up here, so I don't have to worry about it. I'll just add those whenever I run the filament right now. But we're doing black, hit OK, save, and now I got black PLA. So say if I wanted to run some type of calibration with the filament, I could do PID calibration and it'll run filaments. I can extrude a little bit. Please select the material. So black. So now it's preheating to 250. It's gonna start feeding the black right now. Make sure that it doesn't tangle up. I can tell right now that mine's pretty bad and it's gonna tangle up. The system itself is smart enough to try to untangle it, but I can tell right now that mine's pretty bad. So you don't have to take it all the way out. What I do is I kind of get it all the way up to where my twist is, which is right here. And now I'll run the whole spool through that hole, and then that'll take that knot away, right? So get that out of there, and once you have that out, you can kind of undo it. So that's that right there. You kind of have to play with it for a little bit and kind of figure that out, but some people might be against it, but it works for me. My filament isn't brittle, so it shouldn't break on me when I'm doing that. You can kind of just follow the material itself. That's it. Now it's untangled. Plug it back up, get the dryer's going. It's still heating up. Now it's pulling filament. Well, it says it's retracting first, I guess, so hopefully you guys can see that. Now it's extruding, so it'll start pulling from here. You can see it flashing when it's pulling, and you can see the roll itself moving. I don't like taking the films off, but I'm taking it off. You guys can see it. I wasn't going to leave it on there forever, but I don't want to take it off forever. feeding, so it's flashing. And it takes a minute, but it will run all the way up to the tube, and it'll eventually come out of there. If that works, then I should be good to go. And like I said, I'm gonna go inside the house and select my filaments, or maybe even run a file. I'll probably come back in a little while and feed the filament and start printing my Snorlax. Or maybe a Gengar, I don't know. Now that I have this purple that I've been wanting to use. But I'm excited, I'm happy. It took about 40 minutes. Probably talked too much, so that's probably why it took longer, but they're pretty easy to put together. I got two of them. I got the V1, V2 of the combo, or the Cobra 3 combos. I will run both of those to this. I've already got the gimbal for it. I just gotta basically run this one to this one. It's like a daisy chain. But I wanna print a stand for it before I do anything. So right now I'm just gonna run some tests, probably mess around with it for a little bit. And that's it. Hopefully this helps somebody. I'm sure that I'm not the first person to make a video, but I tried to explain it as much as I could. I feel like explaining things actually helps people work through stuff like this instead of just saying connect this and connect that. I hope I explained some of it, but yeah. Wooden filament out.